What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, fellow fantasy people? And of course, what is going on, the Catch fam? You already know what time it is, man. We are rolling right into another mock draft. Got a request to continue doing some of these 8-man league mock drafts. So, of course, that is what we are rolling right into today, man. As always, let me know in the comments down below what type of mock drafts you guys want to see in the future, as well as what you guys think of this mock draft overall. If you have a requested mock draft that you have not seen yet, do not worry. I have not forgotten about you. I am doing my best to crank out these videos as quick as possible. With that being said, if you do find this video enjoyable or helpful in any way whatsoever, please go ahead and smash that like button, as it truly does help out the channel. Go ahead and consider subscribing for more future content like this, as well as our annual The Catch podcast. So I am super pumped, as always, to roll right into this 8-man mock draft. I don't play in an 8-man league personally, but definitely one of my favorites to kind of study up for and conduct these mock drafts for, because you can simply just pick up so much talent. So we are selecting from the 6th overall selection, definitely targeting that of Nick Chubb or Aaron Jones. I'm not really going with a specific strategy other than I'm just going to draft how I would normally draft, as the season is coming much closer and is coming up on prime time to go ahead and start your actual fantasy football mock drafts. I'm really just going to be drafting for the most part and how I personally believe you guys should be drafting. But if there are any specific strategies you guys want to see, please let me know. I'm happy to conduct those as well. As we see, really your big 5 off the board here, no surprise. CMC, Dalvin Cook, Zeke, Derrick Henry, and Alvin Kamara. So we're going to go out and we're going to pick up Nick Chubb. And then with that 11th overall selection, we are going to be targeting another running back. But if you do like to go RB, wide receiver, or if you're considering a Travis Kelce here, I think those are okay picks as well. But personally, I'm going to load up at the running back position, especially in an 8-man league where there's so much depth at the receiver and tight end position. As good as these receivers are here in the first round and the second round as well, and even really the third round, I just think the value at running back really outweighs that, because as these drafts go on, you will find the one position that consistently dries up the quickest is the running back position. And whether you're playing in an 8-man league or a 20-man league, that is going to be consistent. The running back position is extremely thin at all times. And I can tell you, if Luke does not pick Aaron Jones right here, then we got a monster steal in this draft. But I am almost certain, I mean, there's a lot of good talent. We still got Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce, a couple other good running backs, Calvin Ridley, D-Hop. I mean, a lot of good talent here on the board. So it is possible that he passes on Aaron Jones and we get an absolute steal here. But and there you go. Like I said, I mean, Stephon Diggs off the board. So we will go ahead, and I think we got the steal of this draft, pairing Nick Chubb with Aaron Jones. What a monster backfield we already have. So now that we have 2 absolute stud running backs who happen to have the same bye week, we may need to go out and get a couple more running backs in this draft, which we already planned on doing anyways. With this 22nd overall pick, as well as the 27th overall pick, we will see what running backs are available. If we can go out and get a guy who we think is a little bit of a steal there, like a David Montgomery, a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, then we're definitely going to go out and get one of those guys. But we also do want to target a receiver and or a quarterback at this point as well. I mean, if Patty Mahomes is sitting there available with the 22nd overall selection, then that's someone that I would love to go out and get here. I've said it time and time again, if you play in an 8-man league, then you have the best chance to secure some very valuable position players and still go out and get the best quarterback in the league. But I am telling you, man, the closer week 1 approaches, the closer and sooner Patrick Mahomes will be moving up on draft boards. People just do not want to miss the opportunity to have him on their fantasy roster. So as we've seen here in the 3rd round, Antonio Gibson and Joe Mixon off the board. After our selection of Aaron Jones, we saw in the 2nd round, that is, we saw Najee Harris, Travis Kelce, Jonathan Taylor, Calvin Ridley, and Austin Eckler off the board. And now D-Hop is off the board here with the 19th overall selection. So a lot of good talent here in the 2nd and 3rd round, especially in these 8-man leagues. You're going to be seeing a lot of good talent all the way through the 5th and 6th round as well, as we now see Justin Jefferson off the board. And we have one more selection until we pick. So I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire would be a great selection here. If you want to go tight end, Darren Waller was probably going to be available as we now see A.J. Brown off the board. And you guys know I'm huge on DK Metcalf, but Allen Robinson, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb, all available. But hey, I said we were going to do it if he was here. Let's go and get Patty Mahomes, secure our quarterback for this roster. And we are super happy, as always, to pick up the best in the league, the best in the business, baby, and Patrick Mahomes. And now with this next selection, we are going to target that of David Montgomery, really fill out the running back position. And then after that, we will kind of move to kind of bounce back between receiver and running back. And then we'll go out and get one or two tight ends that we're pretty confident in. You know, some of those later round guys that I preach about, keep talking about over and over again. You guys know Robert Tonyan, Logan Thomas, Mike Gesicki. I mean, all kinds of names in a little bit later rounds that I'm going to be happy with. So we will see who gets selected here. And if David Montgomery is available, as we have seen, Clyde Edwards-Helaire taken at the top of the 4th round. And now Darren Waller, followed by that selection of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So let's go out and get our guy. A lot of good talent here. I mean, Allen Robinson, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, and Keenan Allen sitting at the top of rankings here. All very good receivers. But my strategy this year, I'm telling you guys, is going to be going out and securing 3 to 4 running backs that I'm super confident in, as well as a quarterback somewhere mixed in when appropriate. I really just want an elite quarterback on my roster this year. And typically, I do the opposite. I wait until the end of the draft to go out and get a guy like a Ryan Tannehill, a Matthew Stafford, a sleeper guy like a Trevor Lawrence, right? But this year, I'm telling you, I'm just not doing it. I want an elite quarterback. I think that has been the thing that has separated me from winning fantasy championships and being a 3rd overall, a 2nd overall, a 4th overall. It seems like every year, right? So I'm going out. I'm happy with the selection of Patrick Mahomes in an 8-man league. I'm telling you, go out and target Patty Mahomes, man. But just make sure that you have conviction in your selections, as always, and that you are following a strategy that you are confident is going to help you get to a fantasy championship and win a fantasy championship. So here in the 4th round, after that selection, or our selection of David Montgomery, we've seen Chris Carson, Terry McLaurin, Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb all off the board. So a lot of good talent, a big run at the receiver position going on here. So obviously our top target would be Keenan Allen, but there's no way he's going to last here. Chris Godwin, another great selection, as we now see Keenan Allen off the board. But we definitely do want to go out and try and secure a receiver that we're confident in. There's a lot of names that I like here, and I think with the 38th overall selection as well as the 43rd overall selection, we can get some pretty good receivers. We're going to go ahead and check what running backs are available. There are a lot of guys that I like here, but I am super confident, even though we have 2 of these guys with the same bye week, I'm pretty confident in this core group of running backs that I think the receiver position and possibly even the tight end position would be something to consider here, just with some of those big names like TJ Hawkinson, as well as Mark Andrews on the board. But as I said, we will probably target a tight end a little bit in some later rounds. And really for an 8-man league, I really do believe in waiting on a tight end. I think there's enough depth and enough guys in later rounds that in an 8-man league, you can hold off. So let's see. We've got either the selection of Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods available here. I don't know who you guys are feeling more confident in. Let me know in the comments down below. I do believe that the Rams are going to have a very good year offensively. I've got a feeling that Cooper Kupp, fantasy-wise, is going to be the guy to come out and have a bit of a better year. It's no knock on Robert Woods, who I also believe is going to have a very good year, with Matthew Stafford stepping into that offense. But I'm going to go out and I'm going to take Cooper Kupp. I'm going to treat this, this is a PPR scoring format for this mock draft, but I'm also going to treat it as I am drafting for a PPR scoring format league. And in that sense, I think that Cooper Kupp offers a lot of great fantasy value. We see now Josh Allen and Miles Sanders off the board to finish the 5th round, followed by Kyler Murray here in the top of the 6th round. So a little bit of a run on quarterbacks. And now we see Travis Etienne out of Jacksonville off the board. Robert Woods still available. I mean, a lot of good players here. I could go out and take a swing and just take a second QB here. We've got DJ Moore available, Tyler Lockett still available. A lot of really good players here, but I'm going to add some depth. Man, as much as I like Josh Jacobs, and you guys know that I love Josh Jacobs, and we're actually going to go out and we're going to pick up Julio Jones because we need another receiver. But I've been so high strung and taking Josh Jacobs in so many mock drafts. But our AFC West podcast season preview should be out by now. Steven has kind of made me think twice about selecting Josh Jacobs and being so confident in Josh Jacobs. And I think come draft day, I will still have conviction behind drafting that of Josh Jacobs. But for now, I'm kind of thinking twice about it. And I'm just really thinking of, within that offense, the value of being able being able to go out and get a Kenyon Drake so late in these mock drafts, someone who had 10 touchdowns last year. I think that offensive line in Oakland has gotten really bad, and it really scares me. So, Josh Jacobs was selected with the 45th overall selection. After our selection of Julio Jones, we also saw Tyler Lockett taken with the 44th overall selection, and then Lamar Jackson and DeAndre Swift off the board. So we did go out and get two very good receivers in Cooper Kupp and Julio Jones. And I mean, as much as I love Julio Jones and as much as I'm expecting him to have a good year, I don't have lights out expectations for Julio, and I do believe he holds much more value in a PPR league than he does in a standard scoring league. And historically, he has been a PPR monster. And don't get me wrong, he has presented pretty good overall value in standard scoring leagues as well. But Julio Jones, traditionally in the red zone, is not a prime candidate to get a lot of scores. So I like where they have him projected at just over 1,200 receiving yards and about 6 touchdowns, right? But don't be surprised if these numbers are just a little bit lower. And the addition of Julio Jones really opens up things more for A.J. Brown as well as that of Derrick Henry. But I do believe Julio is going to have a great year, and I do believe in a PPR scoring format, he's going to be a great number 2 or number 3 receiver to have on your roster. So at the end of the 6th round, we saw TJ Hawkinson taken off the board, and here in the 7th round, we've seen Dak Prescott, Robert Woods, and Kyle Pitts. When we have 2 more selections to go, DJ Moore being our top target. I also like that of Adam Thielen here. Mark Andrews sitting here at this point, such a good value to go ahead and lock up at the tight end position. I know I've been saying that we can go in and get a guy late, but at this point, I mean, Mark Andrews is going to have an absolute monster year, but a lot of these kind of back tier running backs still available. I think that I might go ahead and hold off, and let's go ahead and see. So Luke has a tight end, and our girl Carrie has a tight end as well. So let's hold off on tight end, and let's go ahead and take DJ Moore, who we're assuming will fill in that number 1 position in that Carolina offense. Whether you have doubts about Sam Darnold or not, this is going to be the guy in Carolina, and he performed very well last year. So I'm happy with that selection, and I like where they have him projected here at about 1,300 receiving yards and about 6 touchdowns at this point in the draft. That is great value. So our next target here is going to be Mark Andrews, and then we're going to revert back to the running back position and really take a lot of those late round guys, as I'm pretty confident in these receivers overall, and I'm already confident in the running backs overall. And as much as I said I wanted to wait for a tight end, once again, this talent here is still available, really is going to give this roster as a whole a very big boost in value and a great value at the tight end position. And as many good running backs and receivers all are available here, and even some very good number 2 quarterbacks that are available here too, we want to go out and we want to add, just a great value to each position on the roster. Already having Patrick Mahomes, 3 great running backs and 3 receivers who we're very confident in. And there goes Mark Andrews. Are you kidding me, man? You already had a tight end and you went out and got 2. Nothing wrong with that, actually. I'm completely cool with that. Something that I do time and time again. So now we kind of have to look here. The tight ends available, I'm not as confident in, or excuse me, at least I believe we can kind of wait. And so let's go out and let's get Mike Davis, who we do believe will be the number 1 back in that Atlanta Falcons offense. I don't know, man. I feel like they're being a little harsh on Mike Davis's projections, and with just 757 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, I'm not expecting Mike Davis to have an absolute monster year, by any means whatsoever. But I do believe he's the number one back in that Atlanta offense, and I don't expect Atlanta to be a great team overall, but I believe that their offense is still going to be very fantasy relevant with Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley kind of leading the way. And if you have, any faith in Kyle Pitts whatsoever, then you should believe it's going to be a pretty good offense overall. Russell Gage at that receiver 2 number position. So, I don't know, man. I think Mike Davis will probably do a little bit better than where they have him projected. But if I was going to select anyone else there, it would be Adam Thielen, who was selected right after the selection of Mike Davis, or that of a Tyler Higbee, just to go ahead and get out a tight end. But like I said, I do believe some of these tight ends are going to be available who we still really like. And I mean, I really like Tyler Higbee as well. But I do believe that guys like Robert Tonyan, Logan Thomas, Dallas Goedert, even Noah Fant, and definitely Mike Gesicki present pretty similar value to that of Tyler Higbee. So here with this next selection, there are a lot of good running backs left. I'm telling you, man, these Denver Broncos players need to be a part of your draft board. Go out and look at their strength of schedule. Steven and I talked about this in our AFC East podcast, or excuse me, not our AFC East, our AFC West podcast. These Broncos have such an easy schedule in terms of fantasy this year. It is outrageous, man. And I really do want to go out and get a Chase Claypool here. But the problem is he's dealing with so many injuries that I'm kind of scared to take him. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to add some depth at the quarterback position. We're going to stick with the AFC West and pick Justin Herbert and just add some really good depth overall to this roster. As much as we like Patrick Mahomes, we do want someone to play in week 12. And it's always, it's not a bad idea to get depth at any position. So still have a glaring hole here at tight end, which we may go ahead and fill. But there's a couple of running backs here still available, and I'd like to add some depth to the running back position. I like that of Raheem Mostert is someone who's starting to move up, as well as Trey Sermon. I kind of just want a piece of that San Francisco 49er offense. And I've got both their running backs kind of on my watch list, but I was still just not entirely sure on how I'm evaluating them overall and who I kind of have more conviction on. But I'm telling you, man, Melvin Gordon is starting to look more and more attractive as a fantasy prospect for me, as well as that of Javonte Williams, because, dude, their schedule is so freaking easy. And that's not, to say that the receivers on this team do not have an easy schedule, and the tight ends, and Drew Lock and or Teddy Bridgewater. I'm telling you, man, go look at the strength of schedule. So Ronald Jones, the second, is off the board. That is absolutely who I wanted with this next selection. So I am just going to go out and I'm going to fill that tight end position and get Tyler Higbee. And then we'll go out and probably target Mike Gesicki a little bit later on. So not necessarily getting some of the guys that I want. And I really wanted Ronald Jones the second there, but we will survive, especially already having David Montgomery, Nick Chubb, and Aaron Jones. That combo right there is unbelievable, man. So I feel like this roster is pretty evened out. I mean, this is a pretty good overall roster in the sense that we have a kind of a stud player at every position that we believe in, and we have depth at every position, maybe outside of tight end. So at this point, I kind of just want to pick the guys that I believe have the most upside. I mean, I kind of like Chase Edmonds here. Someone, in PPR leagues is going to present a lot of good value. Melvin Gordon still sitting here. Once again, a very, very easy schedule. Jerry Judy is still sitting here. Someone who's going to have an incredibly easy schedule this year. Someone who I may just go ahead and go out and get and add. That'd probably be the last receiver on this team. I mean, I'm pretty confident from a PPR standpoint, and Cooper Kupp, and Julio Jones, and in DJ Moore. If we can go out and get Jerry Judy, that's going to help add a lot of depth, as we see here in the top of the 11th round. Deebo Samuel is now off the board, followed by the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So once again, a lot of good players here, and I'm kind of going to probably target one of these running backs and then hope that Jerry Judy falls to us at with pick 91 overall. Okay, so now we've seen James Robinson as well as Raheem Mostert off the board, and I really want to go ahead and pick Jerry Judy, but we're going to go out and we're going to get a running back in that of Chase Edmonds, because we are seeing a little bit of a run on running backs here. And then with this 91st overall selection, we're going to go ahead and select that of Jerry Judy. So let's go ahead and check out this team. And we got Patty Mahomes as well as Justin Herbert. We've got a lot of good receivers and running backs and a tight end that we're confident in. So feeling pretty good overall still. I mean, I know in these 8-man leagues, your roster is going to look pretty strong overall. More of the challenge comes from picking the right guys. And there's going to be good talent on the waiver wire week in and week out. And you just really got to know, do your due diligence and have your notes together and keep up with the waiver wire, right? And make sure that you're going out and drafting people who you have the most conviction in to put up the most points week in and week out. Because regardless of who you draft and who you drop week in and week out, there's going to be talent flying everywhere, man. That's just how it works in an 8-man league. So let's go out and get the guy that we want, and that of Jerry Judy, someone who I have been so high on this whole offseason, earlier than maybe most people, and I'm really still confident in Jerry Judy. I think he's going to have a fantastic year, regardless of who is at the quarterback position for that team. And now, with this kind of final selection to fill out this roster, we are going to target that of Mike Gesicki, and we'll go ahead and check to see if there's any other tight ends available. There's still a lot of good running backs. I mean, Michael Carter's still available. Kenyon Drake is still floating down there. James Conner is available. We probably wouldn't want to stack. I wouldn't want Chase Edmonds and James Conner on the same team. I mean, Gus Edwards is still available. There's still some good names at receiver here. Jalen Hurts is still flying around. If we wanted to add a third quarterback, probably something I would never do. Very confident in the first 2 quarterbacks we got, especially considering we have Patrick Mahomes. But, I mean, Logan Thomas, Dallas Goedert, Noah Fant, all available here. The Patriots tight ends being pretty concerning right now. 2 players I was relatively high on just a week or so ago, right? But they're both banged up, and for whatever reason, it just feels like when tight ends go to that New England Patriots team, they kind of, it just feels like it never works out, man. I certainly hope that it does work out for both of them, and we see our guy, Mac and Cheese, Big Mac, throwing some touchdowns to them this year. But a lot of good running backs still available, but I am probably going to, and a lot of good receivers. I mean, Antonio Brown is sitting here, Mike Williams is sitting here, DJ Chark, guys that we have a lot of faith in, Will Fuller. But I do believe that we need to go out and get a second tight end. And I'm telling you, man, I have the most faith in Mike Gesicki. I mean, you even look, I mean, they got Noah Fant projected at 1,000 receiving yards, which would be fantastic. And if I'm not mistaken, the Broncos have